All right. Welcome back to episode 7, 8, and 9 of Talking Tea. This is Eric. I'm drinking some chai tea with regular honey. I'm going to kick it over to Aaron. Aaron, what are we drinking?
Tonight I got a Japanese cherry green tea. A little bit of honey, too.
Wow, pinky's out. Herb, what are we drinking tonight?
Turmeric green tea with honey.
Very good, very good. Connor, what are we drinking tonight?
I know this is going to shock you guys and the viewers, but I'm actually drinking water.
Oh, you did throw me. You threw me on that one. I thought we'd get one. Very good. Skylar, close us out. What are we drinking tonight?
Diet Coke. Caffeine-free tonight.
Ooh. Nature's tea, we call it. Very good. Well, we are doing episode 7 of Andor, season 1, the announcement. As always, let me read our little summary before we get in to our thoughts, starting with our little background. So, on Coruscant, Karn starts a new job at the Bureau of Standards as the ISB gains more draconian surveillance and punitive authority. Dedra is challenged by Blevin for breaking protocol around accessing data about thefts from Imperial installations. She persuades her superiors of her work's value and is assigned oversight of Ferrix. Luthen's assistant Clea meets with Vel on Coruscant and instructs her to find and kill Cassian to prevent him from revealing Luthen's identity. Mon Mothma meets Takalma, an old friend and banker, at a dinner party and asks him to help her access family funds. Cassian returns to Ferrix to settle old debts and learns from Bix that the community blames him for the fallout from the corporate security crackdown. The presence of stormtroopers on Ferrix reminds Cassian of how the original Clem, his adopted father and Marva's husband, was murdered by Imperial clone troopers years ago. Cassian attempts to get Marva to leave Ferrix with him, but she decides to stay and covertly oppose the increased Imperial presence. Cassian travels alone to the tropical tourist paradise of Niamos. On a trip to a shop, he is confronted by shore troopers in a KX unit, arrested for perceived minor offenses, and is sentenced to 6 years imprisonment. Whew, we got a lot.
I'm so excited to get into this because there were some wild moments in this episode.
Let's just start with the name. So the announcement. I think it's multiple meanings right there, because I think we're starting to see characters announce or start revealing, themselves, their true motives. Whether it's Luthen kind of coming out of the shadows a little bit more, Mon getting a little bit more on the aggressive front. We can see Dedra kind of become a little bit more rugged or intense with what's going on. What did you guys think? Did you think much of that episode name?
I thought it was more of them announcing that the rebellion was here and here to stay.
And that's a great one too, because what does Dedra say? She says they're treating this like a robbery, and her sniveling little assistant says, well, what do you call it? An announcement. So many different things, I think, out of the name. So, what do we start with? But we start with Mr. Karn. Karn, he is what feels like in a prison. I think this ties in nicely with the end of the episode where we are in actual prison. But we get back to seeing Mrs. Fig just emasculate the dude, like, immediately as the episode starts. And do you guys remember what she, complains about immediately?
Oh, that his uniform's tailored?
His collar.
Yep.
She always has
desperation.
Yeah, she always has meanings. It's like, what was the last one? She said, "I don't believe in myself." That's what it says. This one is, what was it? Screams of desperation is this one. So a lot of things said with Cyril's choice in clothing over and over. Oh man. Let's see. But we, at that point, get to see a very, unique type of TV appearance. Like, the little tiny screen gives a very retro vibe of how, the news on Aldhani's breaking to everyone. Feels very 1970. Feels like your classic Cronkite like news break that everything is like very big news, and of course Mrs. Fig doesn't care one bit. She's like, oh, they'll pay. It's not much, but to Cyril, who hates Cassian and just feels that connectivity, he is enamored with this. I really like that little trope, because even though it's very futuristic Star Wars is, they really do try to make it not feel like our reality. Like it is very retro in that regard.
It also feels like Cold War era state-sponsored media, which is like on par for the Empire.
Aaron, where is the jingle?
Not here.
No.
Not developed yet.
Military corner will be coming soon.
It's ready? It's not ready.
That is a great callback, though.
This as a first-time watcher of this series, I'm very intrigued by what this whole Karn like subplot will be, because it's definitely like a slow burn. You know, like there's a couple episodes that he wasn't even in, and now I feel like he's been in a couple episodes in like 4, 5, 6, and 7 maybe. But it's just like small appearances, so I just wonder like how much is he gonna matter, you know? But hopefully it pays off as a first-time watcher.
Yeah, I think he's very interesting, and we get to see a lot more of his growth as we keep going, like his brazen attitude, which I'm excited to dive into. But yeah, I hope we do get that payoff. Obviously, I'm watching too for the first time, so we're all gonna find out together, I guess. So we go from Cyril in his room down in the lower levels, and then we're in the war room. So we really get to see that first announcement of Aldhani and how the ISB, how the Empire is handling it. And Aaron, how would you say they're handling it?
I think that they're handling it's always interesting to me, like, to look behind the scenes of the Empire in this show, because they're both handling it like extremely like ruthlessly and clinically, but also like extremely disorganized, because everybody has their own agenda that they're trying to push like in handling it. But overall, I think it's like they're trying to kind of put their thumb down and say this is not going to happen again, and if it does, like, there's going to be like really severe consequences.
Yeah, I think we get to see that pure overreaction, as Dedra would say. You know, they are doing exactly what maybe shouldn't be done. They are going to tax any planet 5 times the amount stolen from Aldhani if they have bipartisan or partisan like activity in their governing bodies. So getting rid of any sort of like agreement between differing opinions. No national customs will be allowed, as that can hide any sort of rebel activity. Palpatine's going to pass a law that will allow the ISB to like just do whatever they want regarding surveillance, search, and seizure. I mean, they can just have any access to anything they want. And then they are passing the PORD, the PORD, the Public Order Resentencing Directive. So any criminal activities, any acts are going to be classified as Class 1, whatever that means. The ISB also controls or has access to the Army and the Navy. So I was going to kick it over to Skylar as a naval man. How significant would that be in like real life if this was a real life thing that happened, like that access? Is that a big thing? Like, is there not that cooperation now?
I mean, that specific scenario wouldn't really happen in our military, but it'd be more like the KGB taking over the army of Russia and the USSR and doing some shady things, which may or may not have happened.
Right. And Dedra's really the only one to catch, like, this is not what we should be doing. This whole time, this is the exact opposite of what we should be doing. She calls it an announcement. This would be Skylar's cue for playing that Peter Griffith, she said it, type of thing, because that is one of many illustrations of the announcement. The Empire sees it as a robbery, and what do we think the difference is between them, this announcement versus a robbery? Why is this a big deal to Dedra?
I think that part of it is that a lot of the Empire, especially in this show, is like kind of portrayed as thinking they're kind of above challenge. You know, so like they see it as a robbery, not like a rebellion, because who could actually rebel against the Empire? You know, where Dedra is a little bit more cynical and sees like the potential cracks that could be exploited, which is I think why she kind of sees it for more what it is as opposed to some of the others.
Yeah, I think this gets back to over and over Dedra just being really good at her job, because she just over and over seems to think she's catching things, and she is. Like, she legitimately is catching things. What do we think about when we transition? We get to Luthen's office, and we start to get more background. The people at the Imperial garrison are all being questioned. They've taken like 141 or 34 Aldani people and arrested them for helping with terrorists. And Mon Mothma strolls in, and she has no clue what has happened. And I was really surprised by this. I thought they kind of worked more together, to be honest. And it was pretty clear. There was no clue on Earth that she was aware that Luthen was organizing this. Did you guys think that there was like involvement there? Did you think Mon was on the same page as Luthen here?
I think this is maybe our first clue as to like how disorganized the rebellion still is. You know, there's right at this point in the story and the show, there is no like leadership or anything really. It's all these separate factions that are kind of rebelling in their own ways and overlapping when they can, but you know, there's all this separate leadership right now. There's no unity.
I totally agree, and we will see that as we keep going, no doubt. But we are the infancy of the rebellion, and there's a lot of different people doing their own separate things to try to stick it to the Empire, but you're right, we're seeing just this absolute lack of cohesion. I love this scene. Again, Stellan Skarsgård steals every scene that he's in, every single time. His acting is unbelievable. I love how her driver's sitting out there. She faces away from the driver so she can talk plainly, but Luthen is just sitting there hamming it up, but saying very real things. Like, his expression is over-exuberant, over-exaggerated, and he's saying real things, but acting like it's just a airless or airhead conversation. Did anyone else think or notice anything much with that scene?
I wrote down the same thing. He's kind of switching back and forth. Even sometimes when he would turn his back to the driver, he would turn back into the, you know, angry-faced Luthen, like, you know, let's get down to business. But then when his face was showing to the driver, like you said, he would be like, put on the pretty face. So I thought the acting was, of course, amazing from him, as usual.
Yeah, we see so many sides to each person here, figuratively and actually. We see Mon Mothma is appalled by this because she recognizes, as someone that's fighting for people that are suffering, this is going to cause more suffering. And does anyone remember what Luthen says when she mentions that?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. He understands we have to make people suffer. We need the Empire to come down hard, because that's what's going to breed more and more rebellion, is this overreach. At the end of all this, where there's obviously some tenseness to it, and I think that's capped off by Mon saying, like, I'm not buying anything today. It's like, I'm done with this conversation. Clea says, I hope she's worth it to Luthen. Does anyone understand what that, like, what did that mean? Obviously he's talking about Mon, but what does that mean?
Took the risk, right? I mean, he's put himself out there. There's no in-between there. Because it seems like he's pretty well the head of the rebellion.
Yeah, maybe because she's so like well connected with other like high class people, including other senators that might be close to Palpatine in the Empire. He knows that, she knows that Mon could potentially like turn her back on this if you don't, you know, if you don't be careful. So it's like, I hope she's worth it, because we're risking a lot, because she knows some very important people that could get us in trouble.
Yeah, I think you guys are right. I think again, it's starting to see this split of like, what can we do? Because Luthen says she can't hide forever. Again, they're hiding they're concealing parts of themselves. It's a double meaning to Luthen. It's the same thing. We know he cannot hide forever. We know that he's in the heart of it all, hiding in plain sight. We know that that's not going to be him for life. He's not going to be able to handle or do that. So then we get to Karn's interview. Not much here. Of course, he talks about Morlana 1, and he goes into how passionate he is about fighting this injustice that's going on, and you can tell his interviewer just is like completely disinterested. It's like, yeah, whatever. We're gonna, start afresh. But I think the biggest moment of this scene, as he gets into this new job, is he steps aside for a mouse droid. I think that's the first time ever in Star Wars that a person moves for a mouse droid. Usually those droids move around everyone, just showing how lowly they are. I think that shows how insignificant Karn is at this point, that he's just moving for the tiniest of droid that is afraid of everything. Did anyone else catch that?
I did not
catch that, and I totally agree with you. That is the first time in Star Wars I've ever seen someone move out of the way for a mouse droid.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's why you listen to the Talking Tea podcast.
We dive in deep. We dive in deep. So then we move on to Clea, and Clea's out in the transport depot working all around, just walking and walking and walking in her high heels, which I was impressed with, because that's a lot of steps she took with those big high heels. And we see Vel. Vel is alive and dressed up, looking very fancy. And Clea is not happy to see Vel. She must be listening to the podcast too. But the directive is pretty simple. She says, you're not supposed to be doing anything. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be trying to contact. You have a job, and it's go kill Cassian Andor. And I'm like, oh my. Well, that escalated quickly. Even talking about how everyone dies for the cause, but this is one that needs to die for their cause to keep them safe. But I thought the one thing that I noticed that was interesting was that Luthen didn't even trust Skeen, by the way. He was like, he had his doubts. And I think it kind of shows why Cassian and Luthen got along so well, or why Luthen liked Cassian so much. Because he's like, this guy's one and the same as me. He thinks the way I think. Moving right along, we get to the military corner, and we got our man, Attendant Valzonis, and number 2 sleeping on the job military official. Common trope we're seeing, Skylar. Is this a callback to something we got here?
Yeah, it's a common thing. Like, we work a lot, especially like when you're doing mission sets and whatnot, that sleep is at a premium, usually 4 to 6 hours max. So a lot of sleepy people. And when you're doing a very mundane job, like sitting at a desk or doing something like that, you're not all there, and you might doze off every once in a while.
Yeah, and he gets rewarded because he has to find a stolen devices from every single system and have it to her immediately. He's pretty well locked in. We see a lot of secrecy with this report too. She's like, don't tell anyone, just me, no one else. Again, I think this gets back to everyone's trying to one-up one another. Everyone's always trying to get ahead in this type of organization. Everyone has to be better than the next person. And Dedra's no exception. But one thing I did notice is fit check for Dedra. Parachute pants? What's going on there? We got no... I understand there's no women in... not many women in the ISB, but man, they didn't even try for their outfits. I mean, if you noticed, these parachute pants are not flattering at all. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. It really bothers me throughout the entire episode arc.
I didn't really notice that. No.
It's really puffy, man. It's like there's no figure. It's like they did not care about tailoring for the women. It's a shame.
Yeah,
She just needs to find that dude.
Kind of stuff, you know.
Just needs to find Karn's tailor.
That's right. Yeah. She needs fitted appropriately. We get a quick check on Aldani, and we see Centaur is alive, and we see the Star Destroyer going there. And then we go right back to Ferrix. A wonderful Ferrix check-in that we get. And Cassian's back. He's talking to Marva, and he said, hey, we're leaving. I got lucky. And she is just kind of struck by it all and not sure about leaving. I really enjoy that, the fact, or the background of it all, of she doesn't want to leave because of what Cassian did, so that she could leave, if that makes sense. Cassian goes on this big rebel heist and gives her the encouragement to say, like, we can stand up to the Empire, and he only did it so they could actually leave and get out of Ferrix. I love that little juxtaposition there that Cassian does not anticipate. Moving right through, we get to the Mon Mothma party. I love this party. This is just very, very interesting to me. We get to see this dude, Tay, who, gosh dang, she does not make it subtle that there used to be a thing, or she wants them to be a thing, because she has her hands all over him immediately. Now, to be fair, that dude's hair is insanely nice, so that's a good taste. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's well suited. But come on, like, right in front of your husband, punchable Perrin. I think we could have done a little bit better, like, to conceal that. But maybe she didn't want to conceal it.
She deserves it. Punchable Perrin deserves that.
I hate that guy. Stupid punchable Perrin. So she's starting to try to figure out, hey, what? I need help with something, and she doesn't want to tell anyone. And Tay is like, listen, I don't know if you want me to kind of help you out, because I really don't like the Empire. And she's like, oh. I wrote down in my notes, Tay, my guy, you have no idea how far Mon is going right now. She says she wants to tell him a secret, and she says only 3 people know her secret. Do you guys know who the 3 people are? I was trying to count this out.
I do.
I got it.
Go ahead, Connor.
It's obviously the 2 people at the store.
Yeah,
right?
Luthen and Clea. I
And
couldn't
then
remember
her
the last
sister.
one.
cousin.
Oh, the cousin, Vel. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, what a pool. Good job. Yeah, I was trying to work off the 3rd one, and I could not do it. Yeah.
But we don't learn that in that episode, do we? That's
Right.
later.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know yet, but you do come into fruition. Exactly right.
So,
That.
little spoiler there.
Yeah.
Not bad, everybody.
No.
He asked a question, you know? The host asked a question.
I was just so excited to know the answer. I was like, I know! Yeah.
Even though we don't find out until episode 9.
Yeah.
Or do we? Who knows? But yeah, I just love that, like, Tay keeps, like, he says something, like, mildly about the Empire, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you. And I'm like, it makes me laugh. Because every time he says something small, do you know that Jack Nicholas gif of him, like, violently smiling and nodding up and down?
Oh, yeah.
That is what I see Mon Mothma. I know she's not doing that exactly, but that's how I feel. She's like, yes, yes, keep telling me more.
Yeah, that's a perfect fit.
So she says how she's played her part so long, she knows how to act in public, and she does it really well because she has to keep telling Tay, like, hey, you're joining this new thing that me and Luthen do. You got to keep smiling, keep smiling. They're always watching us. And he's like, I don't understand. And she's like, yeah, just keep smiling. Smile and wave, boys. That's what we're always saying. And her meetings, she says her meetings have been infiltrated, and then we get the horrible news that Chloris is indeed an ISB plant.
Yeah.
Darn it, Chloris. I was holding out hope that you were going to be a good guy. You were
Yeah.
worthless. Dang it,
We knew it
Chloris.
when I name dropped him 3 times that something was going on.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good point.
He was not good enough. Chloris could have been our hero that we just never get to see. But she wants to ask Tay for a favor, but she holds off. But my new segment is going to be camera work segment, or camera work shot. Because, man, I got a good one. It's like she is talking to Tay, and we get two things. So as she's talking to Tay, and she's like, I need to tell you my secret, she actually starts walking him into this room. And as she says that, there's these partitions that are kind of opened up that look exactly like webs. And as she says, like, hey, I gotta tell you my secret, she's saying that at the exact same time she's walking him into this web. I feel like very symbolic to say, like, hey, you are now entering this web of secrets that I am a part of, and you cannot get out. I love that little camera work. My second favorite, and I think this is gonna be the crowd, the pod's favorite, she's speaking about her new foundation. And does anyone remember how she, like, explains or categorizes her foundation? People think it's a useless what?
It's for charity?
Yeah, it's like a useless irritation. She's like, oh, people just think it's a useless irritation. As she says that line, they are sitting on the couch, her and Tay, and it's sharpened, the camera is sharpened to them. As she starts to say that line, it focuses out. So the immediate, those two are blurry, and you know what is in the background sharply seen when she says useless irritation?
Her husband.
Punchable parent, baby.
Yeah.
A useless irritation. I love that camera shot because it is so true. That dude is worthless. Even so, she says at the end, she's like, Perrin doesn't know, don't tell him. He's not to be trusted. He's a useless irritation. Oh, this show is so good, and it made me just absolutely love that camera work and that line delivery.
Yeah, I did have a couple of notes on this this party, specifically two that tie into what you just said. The first one was like, whenever she started talking with Tay, I liked how Tay started off by going, hey, listen, like, I'm a little bit more extreme than what we used to be. And then she's like, oh yeah? Hold my beer. She's like,
hold my
I'll
tea.
do you one better. Yeah. And so I really like that. But then the other thing is, I did notice that Punchable Perrin, as soon as she started talking with Tay, he was like disregarding every conversation and trying to pretend like he wasn't following them to try and listen in. And I was like, oh, this is hilarious. But I did not pick up on her touching. I did not register that as like romantic touching. I thought it was just her taking him by the arm and trying to talk to him in confidence. That didn't register to me as romantic, but that could have just been a me.
And I'm assuming she doesn't want to play it off as romantic, but it's a lot of touching. It is a lot of touching. Like, imagine your significant other just like seeing someone from their childhood and just like continuously wrapping their arm around their arm and touching their arm. Like, I feel like everyone would be like, I don't really like how this is going. Now, the interesting part is Perrin hates his wife. Absolutely hates his wife. So I don't understand the jealousy component to it either. I found that very unique too, because he does not like her at all. Like, he's definitely cheating on her, in my opinion, somehow, some way. Anyone else have Perrin hate to spew?
I think probably
That guy's
part of it
face
is just
so
like
punchable.
That's true. Part of it's probably just like a possessive thing. Like, even though he doesn't really like her, at least anymore, he's still like possessive of her.
That's
So
valid.
like, if she were to like be starting to get with this other guy, who I think it's pretty heavily implied that they have a past, even though he doesn't really care about her, it would still make him like jealous and like angry.
Yeah, they are. It's a weird dynamic, to say the least. It's a weird dynamic. Tay is just not realizing how much he is caught up in this. I just am gonna enjoy seeing his character a lot more moving forward. I think he's just a great addition to the show. Anything more before we go to Ferrix?
I really did like his character as well. I'm excited. I hope he plays a huge role because he gave me good vibes. I think he's going to be a strong character for the rebellion.
Yeah, I hope to know his name a little bit longer than Nemec's. R.I.P. Nemec.
Although I do think he'll fold under pressure.
Oh, hot take. Man, I thought he was cool and collected. With that hair, that silver fox is ready.
I think he's cool and collected, but I think Palpatine gets in his face, he's gonna be like, oh yeah, you know what? Here's the money.
It's fair.
Fair enough. I don't think he
Palpatine
knows
is
what
not.
he's stepping into though, so
No,
it's not
no.
really his fault if he crumbles.
His taste is. Oh, go ahead.
Do you think that if he crumbles, it will be like a? Do you think it's just like he doesn't have a backbone, or do you think it's more like a? I don't know, like a character flaw, like something. I don't know. If he does, like, what is the thought process, or what makes you think that?
Connor?
Sorry, I was stuck. I don't know. I just think I like him, and usually when I like a character, something bad happens to him. I just think that they'll have something over him. I just can see him being the person that, like, he's not a Timmin, but I think
Timid.
I don't know. I just think that I'm gonna like him so much that he'll be the plot twist I don't expect. So,
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a good premonition. Everyone you love dies, or makes a mistake. Sometimes that's how it is. That's how it is in a lot of our shows. There.
Yeah, like you said, R.I.P. Nemec.
R.I.P. Nemec. R.I.P. Terriman. Except no one kind of fell in love with that guy. He was not
No one
in.
knew that guy.
No, not. Where's Terriman? Nemec, you're the only guy that remembered his name. Okay. So we go to Ferrix, and we get to see that apparently everyone on Ferrix hates our dude Cassian. Hates him. He is the reason that the Empire is there. You just see him starting to like continually kind of ruin so many different spots of like the galaxy.
So many lives.
Yeah, he is causing some problems, even though, and it's like based on the selfishness of everything. It's like he's playing for himself in so many of these roles, and then I think when he leaves, everyone else has to take the grunt work of like that punishment. So he's back, and he sneaks over to see Bix, and we got a big shocker reveal that him and Bix did indeed used to be a thing. What a surprise! Who could have seen this coming? Certainly Timm would have been one of them. R.I.P. Timm. Or just rest, because I don't know if in peace is right for Timm. But
I stand by my hot take. Tim had a right to be mad.
he did. You know what? Amen. And we all found out that everyone knows that Timm called it in, and some people seem to think one thing, some people seem to think the other about Timm's intentions when he died. They all should think he's an idiot, no matter what motive he had. But we get to see that Cassian again is just pushing the blame off of himself onto Timm. He's like, oh, well, your boyfriend called, and did all this. It's not me, even though, like we said, Cassian did all these things. He scammed everyone. He lied to everyone. Cassian, again, just pushing back on the notion nothing's his fault.
Yeah.
And then I have
Bix even says that in this scene, right? She's like, all you do is you come in, you like, what do you steal from people, or what? Or you like con them into things, and then you just leave. That's all you do, and you repeat the cycle. She says that, doesn't she?
I think so, yeah. Something to that effect.
I have a note here. Cassian's such a gaslighter to Bix because she says all that, and then he's always like, well, it's kind of your fault, and it's kind of Tim's fault. I mean, honestly, what are you doing? And I'm like, dude. It's like she got popped in the face, arrested. And it's like, yeah, come on, Bix. And
True.
then we get to see the flip side of Cassian's like, hey, who is Luthen? Who is this dude? He's starting to try to figure out a little bit more about him, which is funny because they're trying to kill him. Like, Luthen wants Cassian dead because he's afraid he knows too much, and then we see the next scene is like, who is Luthen? Who's this guy? I don't know anything about this guy. And you're like, oh, well, I guess they're going to kill him, and he has really no idea what's going on, which I found very interesting. The last thing I want to mention about Cassian is he finally pays everyone off. He tries to make amends, and he owed 12,000 credits. I'm like, holy cow, that sounds like a lot. So I did the deep dive, and I'm like, how much US dollars did this man owe to everyone on Ferrix? So there is no good conversion for credit to US dollar. So
Shockingly.
what I had to do is actually I had to go based on the burger rule. So in Star Wars, you can see a burger type meal be sold for like 9 credits. Or sorry, 5 credits, and I would say like a burger meal nowadays would be somewhere around the $9 mark. So I made $9-ish equivalent to 5 credits, and then I started breaking down the math in a proportion. And based on that, Cassian owed about $23,000 to people on Ferrix, which is very degenerate at that at that point that he owed that much money all at once. And I bet you guys didn't think you'd get math like that on the pod, but here we are, back again.
I just can't believe your research didn't find anything from.
There's no equivalent
Star Wars
conversion.
credits to US dollars.
There's not. There's not. There are some like at like Disney World or
Did you check Reddit?
I did. So at Disney World, the credits that you can buy at like what is that part of Disney World? Galaxy's Edge. Credits are a 1-to-1 conversion, so that's just not right. Like, Disney didn't do the job of doing the math on that, so that's very insulting. If you ever go to Disney, just remember that it's a joke. That they don't care about authenticity and actuality with their credits to US dollar conversions.
Alright, good to know.
I know. I just want to slander them for a second. But, yeah, we get to see the flashback there after everyone's paid off that Clem is hung, trying to stop any sort of resistance to the Empire, which I find interesting. Did you notice that they are actual clone troopers and not stormtroopers in that scene?
I did notice that.
Like, so it's very early. Like, we actually have actual clones that are sitting there cooking people. Not even inscripted stormtroopers. So, poor Clem. And I thought, wow, they shot Clem. No, they hung Clem. I thought that was a little bit brutal. Do you think they hung him to kill him, or do you think they shot him and then hung him up there?
I think they hung him because there's another reference either in this episode or the next where one of the like ISB agents is talking about one of the people from our current cast, and they're like, I'd like to hang him, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that seems to be a practice, is just straight up hanging people in the square.
Yeah. Why not?
Why did he just stand there though?
Yeah.
Like,
he should have pointed
at him.
at him.
With him. I was like, hey guys, calm down. And I was like, I'm all in on that. But then they're like, company halt! And he just goes, I'm gonna just stand here. I'm gonna freeze.
Yeah. Hot take, very similar to Timmons' death.
Yep. Clem deserved to die?
Death in TV history?
Clem deserved to die, question mark?
Hot take, Clem deserved to die, just like Timm. Don't be a hero.
When they turned, he should have just sprinted and then pointed at everyone, throwing rocks. It's like, it was them! Kill them! I'm trying to stand up for the Empire. Long live the Empire. Yep. Clem really messed that one up. You know what? You're right. Glad they hung Clem.
Moral of the story, I think, is not don't be the hero, but be the hero. But when someone points a gun at you, move.
Yeah.
Don't run straight at them.
Yeah, exactly. The two people who run straight at him are dead.
Yeah. I would say don't be the hero, and also don't be the idiot. You can be both at the same time. Just don't be the idiot, and that's what these guys have been.
You know what I really
That's
learned?
what I was thinking.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Herb. I'll tell you in a second.
What I learned is that the writers need to find a new way to kill off these characters. You know, it's like, don't just have them run straight at the guys pointing guns at them. Come on, think of some other way to kill them off. You know. Couldn't have found a fun way to kill Clem in the past.
Yeah. You know what? I totally agree. Connor, what was your thought?
When I couldn't think of the guy's name, but when Clem like stands there and he freezes, he must have just got done watching the Avengers and seen Drax just like move to eat that nut slowly. It's like, but my movement is so subtle, and I was like, "You idiot!"
Yeah, they cannot see me.
To move so slowly, you cannot see me.
I'm naked, visible to the naked eye, but my movement's so slow.
Yeah.
It's imperceptible. It's like, hi, Drax. Dang it. Oh, Clem, you gotta be smarter. But yeah, after all that, we see Marva. He goes back. Cassian goes back to save her, and like we mentioned, she's like, "No, I'm empowered," and she's proud to fight. And we still see Cassian fighting that. It's like that push and pull, that tide of, am I doing it for me or am I doing it for we? And he keeps fighting that, and it's just such an interesting, like, dark versus light type of thing, I guess. I know it's not really dark versus light in that regard, but it's just that one versus another that's fighting over him. And I just love that. So we go back to Coruscant right before the end of the episode, and we see this dude, Jung. He just gets ripped up at every meeting. Every meeting, that guy is getting cooked. The guy with, like, the moppy hair and the mustache. It's like, you suck again. Yeah, stinking Partagaz. It's like, all right, well, give me a giant book report tomorrow since you suck at your job. And he's like, okay. Like, come on, man. Can you get a little bit better? I'm feeling bad at this point. And then we get Blevin, and he's like, you know what? This is the perfect time to call out this woman. And they're like, whoa. And he is just accusing her of being loose with the rules, doing whatever she wants, being a renegade officer. And she handles it pretty well. She's like, "Oh, I'd love, yeah, air it out. Let's see what we can do here." She is not afraid. She, like I said, she is, again, just such an interesting character. So confident in herself and how good she handles her role in the ISB. I don't know if anyone else thought much about that situation, but obviously they're talking about Ferrix once again, and Partagaz is like, you know what? I'm finally done with you, Blevin. You're out. You're distracted. Dedra's handling this so much better. I'm giving you Ferrix, or I'm giving her Ferrix. I basically said, he takes it away from Blevins. That's basically the equivalent of someone pulling down his pants and everyone pointing and laughing at him. He's so embarrassed. Like, he's just sitting there in stun. I'm like, yeah, dude, you messed with her too many times. You gotta relax at a certain point. She cooked you.
Really? Wow. I'll let Herb go because I have the opposing view on that.
Oh, I had the same view as Dorcas. I feel like that guy just needs to, like, stop being obsessed with Dedra. You know, it's like, dude, let it go, man. Let it go a little bit.
I actually had the exact opposite outlook. I thought he was in the absolute right. She was in the wrong district. She shouldn't have been in his territory, and he was simply defending it. Now, my other note was, before he brought it up, the head guy was like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Or you want to do it now?" And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm in the right," which I agree. She was bending the rules to her, and he even acknowledged it, like, "Yeah, she bent the rules. I wish everyone had this initiative." I'm like, wait, what are we doing here? There's no organization. So I thought he was in the right, and I think she's in the wrong. She was just overeager, and for some reason this guy has a hard-on for her, and it's like, I love everything you're doing, but be careful. And my last thought on that too that came to mind was he made a lifelong enemy. Like, you thought it was bad now, that dude is going to try and get back at her, and mark my words, something's going to happen where she's going to mess up, and he's going to be right there to be like, "Ha ha, idiot."
So I find it interesting because I think she is totally in the right, because that stolen, like, that stolen piece is 100% right.
Her jurisdiction.
It is 100% connected, and she is catching, like, I don't want her to, you know. And this is the fun part about this show, is that it makes you kind of like cheer for people and hate them depending on the scene. Like, I hate Dedra in certain scenes. And then in some scenes, I'm like, yeah, kick Blevin's butt. You're so right. And, like, I'm cheering for her at the same time. And that's what makes that show so good. You can cheer for random people just depending on what scene they're in. But she's, like I said, she's uncovering stuff about the rebellion that I don't want her to, because I want the rebellion to win. I want Andor, and I want to see all this work out, which we know it does. But I mean, she's right. She's catching things, and the thing is, she probably is at one point gonna get messed. Like, it's gonna get messed up, and they're gonna say, "Well, she's just overeager," and finally push themselves away from the fact that, like, maybe she's not that great when actually she was 100%. 100% was. So yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting take. I didn't think much about it.
Yeah,
Didn't
I'm actually on Connor's side with this one. I had the same thought. I think that we're kind of clouded by the fact that we know she's right. But if we didn't have all the information, we'd be like, why is she like stepping over her boundaries and like so obsessed with this?
No,
Kinda
she's
in the
really
same
not
way that
though,
we're,
because
like,
don't they explain
Karn.
that the equipment was under her control that was stolen?
Well, I think that the equipment was under her control technically, but I think that everybody
The fact
kind of
that-
implies that she is using that as a way to nab at this thing that is
Yeah.
not really her, like,
Like, keeps pursuing it even though she
Responsibility.
really doesn't need to.
yeah.
Didn't the head guy, because they met originally, and didn't the head guy tell her no? Like, this is his territory?
No, he says that you have to have more, and she says this in this blow up. It's like, you have to have more concrete evidence than just a hunch, which is what she gets from Sir Napsalot at the post. He gets her that evidence to say, yeah, this is all, this all connects. So
Yeah, but she breaks the rules to get that evidence.
correct, but Partagas commends her for breaking those rules, because he's saying, you know what, you needed to do this to do this. So that's so interesting. I love this
Well,
podcast because we share different views.
I kind of agree with both points now. It's like, not if everyone acted like Dedra, then obviously the system would fail because everyone would be breaking the rules. But
Yep.
Portagas is also right, where it's like, to be a really good officer, like, you kind of have to do that, and he's kind of like almost coaching Dedra to do that, like, carefully. Like, he doesn't want everyone to break the rules, but he sees something in Dedra. It's like, good job. You kind of have to bend the rules sometimes to get what you want.
Skylar, break the tie. Dedra, in rights or out of rights?
I think she's in her rights.
Oh!
I mean, you're entitled to be wrong. It's okay.
There it is. So, but I think, objectively speaking, Partagas is impressed with this maneuver and impressed with Dedra, because then he leaves and he's like, good job. Watch your back.
I also think there's something there, by the way. It does not explain. There's no way, like, he just randomly, he's just like, oh, this is the only female, so I think that I'm going to support her. There has to be something else. Like,
Do you think it's a father-daughter relationship?
Or he's
I don't
attracted to
think-
her.
I don't think it's attraction.
I don't think it's attraction.
I don't think it's father-daughter either, but there's something there. Like,
See, that's why early on I thought she might be the daughter of someone important, when we talked maybe in our second or third podcast episode of, like, what's significant about Dedra. Not the fact that she's obviously like one of the only females, but I also thought, like, maybe she's significant in that, right, where she's the daughter of someone very important, possibly. And it might not be Portagas, but I'm still wondering that.
yeah, because it doesn't explain it. Like, he's getting on to people left and right, but then all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, you broke the rules? I'm so happy you thought of that. You genius!" And I'm like, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's weird that he's breaking character for her only. Yeah.
So but I enjoy that perspective that you guys have, but you didn't
but you think we're wrong.
successfully convince me. Yeah.
I do want to bring up a second point. There is more than one female in that room. You will see her, like, she's mentioned and she's shown when they get the big round tables. So it's not like Dedra's the only female, but she is one of the very, very few. I literally think I only saw one other female. So, but I like I said, I just think she's that good at her job, and maybe I'm just misguided in that. But I do think, like, that's why Partagas, like, favors her But I don't think he did at the beginning. I don't think he's shown her preferential treatment because he said, like, hey, you're going to have to get more evidence. Like, I'm not just going to give you this system on a whim. Like, he kept it with Blevin for a bit. So I don't know. I don't think I see favoritism, but I'm going to watch it differently now. I'm going to see if that's the case. Certainly.
I just think he sees a lot of himself in her, and that's why he likes her so much. She's showing a lot of initiative, while a lot of other ones aren't. They're just content with their 6 systems that they have.
Yeah, some do. Some, like Blevin, you can tell Blevin wants to climb. Blevin definitely wants to climb the fastest he can. That's why he didn't want to give any systems. That's why he didn't want to help her when she even submitted just a single request. It's like, hey, can I look at this? He's like, nah, just stay in your lane. It's like, interesting. But great discussion. Great discussion. Aaron, anything else before we change off of this Imperial dynamic?
I don't think so. I still think that I would lean towards my initial, like, I think that, I mean, don't get me wrong, Blevin sucks, but I think that if we're, like, going technicality, I would say that, like, he was legit to be not happy with the way she was handling it.
That might be a different question. So
Well,
I might agree with that. I might agree, like, if I was Blevin,
controversial.
yeah, if I was Blevin and I didn't know all that and I saw she snooping around trying to get my territories, maybe I think I could feel justified with how Blevin feels, but at the same time, like I said, well, in that system, it's so different because
like, still that she was in the wrong for doing it, and Partagas is in the wrong for rewarding it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's complex because, like I said, if it's getting the job done, that's good. But yeah, you can't have everyone be renegade, like you said. So interesting. Well, are we all ready for Space Miami?
Yep.
Let's finish out with Space Miami.
So Space Miami.
I literally have it wrote down as Space Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're in Space Miami. We're in Nyamos, and we got Keith, aka Cassian, and he's with his new annoying girlfriend who we do not like. Not like Bix, much worse than Bix. And we see him get arrested for definitely looking suspicious, which comes to my hottest take. That shore trooper was an amazing shore trooper because absolutely Cassian looked suspicious the entire time. It drove me nuts how suspicious he looked the entire time he was there. I'm like, dude, you do look like you should be arrested. He's always like poking around, like head over his shoulder. Like, when he saw people running, in my opinion, he should have just sat down and let the people chasing go get him. Like, he wouldn't have looked suspicious at all if he just kind of like backed out of the way and let everyone run by. Drove me nuts. Again, it's the stupid things that these people do. It's like, just quit being dumb.
Wow, I actually disagree on this point too.
You know, you can be wrong, man. It happens. But I'd love to hear it.
I completely, I thought that was the worst writing ever. Actually, this is my big discrepancy. That's not the right word. My biggest like hate of writers on this specific scene, because like he's just walking, he sees the people running, he looks behind, oh, there's people running, watches them run, and then just proceeds to walk. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go up this way. And then conveniently behind this barrier, there's a trooper, and he just goes, hey, wait a minute. You're a random guy walking.
I couldn't agree more with you, Connor. I totally agree. It was the worst.
This was horrible.
Man, I have some different takes then for this.
Oh no, you could just tell the writers had to get him to that prison somehow, and they were just like, here we go, we'll just get him arrested for walking.
Yeah, I thought it. Yeah, I'm glad. I won't go as hardcore in because you went with me. But I was like,
had the same thing written down. I'm like, what a joke. That's how he gets arrested. Like they can't think of it's almost like they only had 5 minutes left in the episode, and they were like, we gotta get Cassian arrested somehow. Let's just tie this into the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then like he's like, I'm literally just a tourist. He's like, no, you're not. I know you're not. In fact, droid, come choke him out. I'm like, wait, what? And this droid. Now that was the funniest part, though. The droid's like, hang? Okay.
Yeah, that was funny.
But no, I thought that was bullcrap. I thought that was the worst writing of the entire series so far.
I totally agree.
So, I'll be
Aaron,
quiet now
Connor?
and let someone else.
All right, Aaron and
Let's hear
Skylar?
the rebuttal.
So I kind of have a different take on it. I think that it's less like lazy writing. I think it's possibly intentional. I'm not going to say it is intentional, but I think that a lot of this series is trying to make like commentary on the way that like oppressive regimes are like run. And I think we see a lot of like, well, I mean, just take like for today's day and age, for example, people getting rounded up for not really doing things wrong, you know? I think that this is kind of a commentary on that, and that the Empire is like, we're about to see him get shipped off basically to a labor camp, you know? And I think that they're kind of trying to show that like these oppressive regimes aren't taking like the criminals and the terrible people and putting them to work. They don't care who you are, you're a resource to them. Like if they can find a way to like do that, they will. You know what I mean?
That is interesting. I was not that deep into it, but that is interesting.
Yeah.
I had the same thought as Aaron, that it really shows that it's an oppressive regime that just like, oh, you're acting just a little bit suspicious? Yeah, you're arrested. See ya. No one's gonna care.
Yeah, so let me say, I actually think this was really great writing. It's so funny that we had those differing opinions, because it's exactly what they said. They have to show Imperial overreach. They have to show just the pure, like, oh, we're, like, what was it when you were, like, back in the 50s that you were suspected to be maybe a communist, and they were, like, locking people up for that? I cannot remember off the top of my head. But it's like, that's what it felt. What was it?
McCarthyism.
Yeah, McCarthyism. Thank you. That's what it felt like. Like, this was very intentional, that it's like someone that looks a little suspicious. Now, I say the Sandtrooper or the Shore Trooper did a good job because of, like, what we know as a impartial person watching the show is like, this random dude is a jerk that like just arrests people because he can, but he arrested like a person that like is crazily enough, like someone that they were looking for this entire time. Like, he should be asking for a raise because he did a good job of doing bad things. But that's beside the point. I just thought the writing was really good for this, because it's just showing such a minor thing. It's like you pay a major consequence even though there's no like deserving thing that is the case. Like, and that's what I thought the writers were trying to show. The Empire coming down hard, again, making these crazy overreaches with like, oh, this used to be a 6-month charge and now it's 6 years, and it's like, I didn't even do anything. And that's what he says the entire time, like, I'm just a tourist. And he was arrested and sent away for 6 years. And I thought, like Aaron and Skylar said, like, it's that overreach. It's them just making up things to put people in prison to work and get more done. His charges were like civil disruption, anti-imperial speech. He never said a word. Fleeing the scene from anti-imperial activity. He was walking. Attempted damage at imperial property. I don't even know what he damaged. Like, I actually loved it. I didn't think it was lazy. I thought it was very intentional.
I think it's two different things. I think the ruling, I think that does show the Skylar and Aaron point of the oppression that's occurring, but the point of when he gets arrested, that clone trooper was just standing there and just randomly picked, and that's my issue, I guess, with that.
Yeah, I think it's just, like I said, I think it's just the abuse of power.
Yeah, but that it feels too random almost. Like Connor said, it was just like, oh, this guy's just standing here. I'm just gonna randomly pick him out of the crowd to hassle him, and then let's arrest him. Like, I don't know, it just felt a little more random than like Imperial overreach, but
too like political with it on the podcast about Star Wars. But I think this is a very political show. I also noticed that a lot of the guys that were running away were guys that looked like Cassian, like same sort of like ethnicity and like age range and stuff. So like it's like I think that it's supposed to kind of
5
indicate
seconds.
that there's like a targeting kind of thing going on.
Yeah, I agree. And then Karn's in his